Well, hey everyone, welcome to Monday Night Bitcoin. My name is George. We are going to kick things off here in just a minute. But first, I want to share a little bit about the spirit of Monday Night Bitcoin. Last fall, I partnered with Russell Okung.
Russell Okung, Wakanda Tech.
He's with the Panthers now, but at the time when he was in LA, we threw an event in downtown Los Angeles to a sold-out crowd.
September 1st, it is here. Bitcoin is sold out, downtown LA.
The goal was to speak to Bitcoin rookies, and that's the goal of Monday Night Bitcoin as well. If you don't have an economics degree, if you don't have deep financial insights, watching charts move all around the place, and if you don't know how to code, if you don't know to have deep technical knowledge, don't understand what a node is or what hash rates are, this is the show for you. You have come to the right place. You are asking the same questions that I was asking, that Russell was asking, that Brian was asking early in our Bitcoin journey as well.
When I first stumbled upon Bitcoin, it didn't make sense. And as I dove deeper into it, my eyes started opening what it meant for me to truly build wealth and to build something for my family for generations to come.
Or maybe you're a Bitcoiner and you have a spouse or a nephew or a brother who isn't going to read the articles that you're reading, isn't going to download the apps that you're downloading. This show is for you and for them. The mission of Bitcoin is mainstream adoption.
That's the real tragedy of centralized power, is that it oppresses so many people. With Bitcoin, we can start taking some of that power back and give it to ourselves.
Come on and get ready. I mean, really ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. This is Hank and I'm ready. Let's get this picture started. Let's paint this town and do it up right. All my rowdy friends are here on Monday night.
What's up, guys? Welcome to week 2 of Monday Night Bitcoin. And my name is Brian. Here is George. And today, this is our Celebrating Bitcoin Pizza Day episode. So we're going to break down for you what is Bitcoin Pizza Day. So George, you go. Tell us what it is.
Bitcoin Pizza Day is one of many Bitcoiner holidays. And what we're celebrating basically is, on this particular day, 10 years ago, a guy named Laszlo purchased 2 Papa John's pizzas from a guy named Jericho for, wait, what did I say? How many pizzas?
2 pizzas. 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. That's what it was.
2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Which was like worth like $40 USD back then, right?
Right. And they had to go peer-to-peer over the message board. Like there weren't apps for it at this point. It wasn't like you didn't go on Papa John's and dial it in. No, it was like you have to send a carrier pigeon out on the internet, but hey, I'm looking to do some commerce. Who's got the other side of this deal?
Right. And so now, 10 years later, the way that the story is sort of retold is, oh my God, can you believe this guy spent 10,000 Bitcoins on 2 pizzas? Because of course that's like, I don't know, $100 million USD in today's value. But I think what we want to talk about today, and sort of what we set up with our wives, was maybe there's more to the story. Maybe there's more going on here, because there was a method to his madness, right? In sort of trying to carry out the first ever documented Bitcoin transaction, and that was to present or to convey its value to the network. Like, hey, there's an exchange for physical goods happening in the real world. That means Bitcoin has value. So it was really a stake in the ground.
Totally. So that's what I like about Bitcoin Pizza Day. So the first physical Bitcoin meetup I ever took my wife Sherin to was Bitcoin Pizza Day 2019. And so this year, like this really marked a year of us kind of like almost formalizing, like talking about Bitcoin like as a couple, because it's been something that I've been into and enjoy like thinking about and being active in. But this has really like kind of stretched her and me this year doing it together. And what I like about Bitcoin Pizza Day is it's a sign of Bitcoin being used in commerce, because we hear all the time, you know, Bitcoin is savings technology, but at least here in the US, we don't hear as often, you know, Bitcoin in commerce, and that trips a lot of people up. And I don't think it's good when like we don't acknowledge that. Like I want to meet new coiners and pre-coiners where they're at, and I want to like meet my wife where she's at and talk about, you know, like I keep preaching like Bitcoin is money. Bitcoin is not stocks. Okay, well, put your money where your mouth is and like explain to me how that happens. So that's, to me, that's the power of Bitcoin Pizza Day, and that's why I enjoy, celebrating it.
Yep. But really, I mean, this past Friday, it was really just an excuse for us to hang out and talk to our wives about Bitcoin. My two kids, Kingston and Saxon, were there, so I have to forgive a little bit of noise in the background. But we had some great conversations about Bitcoin and ate some pizza and hung out. We had our friend Stephen Cole on hand as sort of like the resident expert. But really, the most valuable parts of the conversation, in my mind at least, were the questions that we were getting from our wives, who are partners in this whole Bitcoin journey. And really, if this is the revolution, then it's going to require them to kind of sign off on this. I don't know about you. I guess I'll speak for myself. Like, I want my wife, Danielle, to be there. I want my kids to understand what we're doing and where we're going and why I think this is so important.
No, totally. Exactly. On that, roll the clip. All right, give us a clap. Just talk about whatever you want. Like the whole point is to hear from you guys about what you think about Bitcoin.
When I read that book, what's the book?
Oh, the Little Bitcoin book.
Yeah, when I read the Little Bitcoin book, remember when I finished reading it, I had said, like, this is really beautiful. Like, that was my description actually of Bitcoin, like what it could do for the world. But what was my follow-up question? Like, as a whole, this whole thing is really, really beautiful and what it could do for people. It's like a game changer. But like, how do you get it going? How do you get it out in the world and have others see that it's beautiful too?
Welcome to Sherin and I's Kitchen. Again, happy Bitcoin Pizza Day.
I'm Danielle. I'm married to George. And Bitcoin. It's very confusing.
I'm Sherin. I'm married to Brian. And I like Bitcoin because Brian likes Bitcoin.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm Steven, and I would echo a lot of that. I am all about Bitcoin as freedom. I think it gives hope where there sometimes wasn't hope before. And I'm excited for the future. And that big part of that is because Bitcoin exists.
Yes.
I would be so depressed if Bitcoin didn't exist right now. If I'm being honest, like it would be like, things would look bleak. Like Bitcoin is hope. I agree.
So
wait, push back on that, babe. I know you disagree. It's why we're here, though. That's why we're here to talk about these things. Yeah, I saw the look you got on your face as soon as I said that.
I was just going to ask you what you meant by bleak.
Well, no, it's a good question. I mean, so first of all, what's the unemployment rate?
Simple words.
Like
Simple
unemployment.
words.
When people lose their jobs.
Okay.
Okay. So right now we're seeing the highest rate of unemployment. So a higher percentage of people are unemployed right now, more than the Great Depression, right?
True.
Okay, so remember like pictures of the Great Depression going up where everyone's like lines around the corner to get food or whatever?
Right.
Like that's literally what's happening right now.
Right.
And so what I'm saying is without a practical solution of like, okay, there is a exit plan from this mess. Without that, I think it would be hard to find. Like things would look very bleak. It would be like, where do we go from here? Like, what do we do now? But with Bitcoin, there is an alternative. There is something that exists, that has existed for 10 years. So things look a little bit less bleak to me.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And the thing that I also pay a lot of attention to is like large scale wars, like the war in the Middle East. And if you think back decades ago, it was like going to war and then ending wars was a really big deal. It was like newspaper headlines and the whole country was involved in thinking about it. And sometimes it was even like voted on among, Congress. And that really doesn't happen anymore. It's just normalized and these wars just happen. And now some people have only ever known that. There are young people who have only been alive the whole time that this ongoing war on terror has been happening. And so regardless of whether anyone agrees with the reasons for the wars themselves, just the fact that they can go on forever because there's this unlimited supply of money to fund them makes like less incentive for us to think about whether they should end. And I think Bitcoin is a good way to help fight back against that a little bit.
There's so many good things on paper that you read about Bitcoin. You're like, yep. yep, I'm on board with all of it. But my question a couple weeks ago was just like, how does it help me like right now? Like me personally.
Yeah, I mean, the right now is, I think Bitcoin's a lot easier if you do get focused on kind of the long-term, like grand visions for it. But when you just zoom into the how does it help you today, I think it's a powerful way to protect savings. So if you buy Bitcoin today, then that is something that you can have and you can control in a way that doesn't really apply to any other asset. There are, if you own bars of gold, then maybe you have more control over that than dollars in a bank account, but it's still harder for someone to take Bitcoin from you than gold.
Right.
Someone can come and seize your gold, and Bitcoin gives the defender, the individual, this level of power that they've never really had before in any time that we've been alive.
Hey, remember in the Mandibles when they came and they took the gold? And
Yeah.
they were ripping up the house?
Right.
Can't do that with Bitcoin.
Have you guys read The Mandibles?
I haven't.
Oh!
Yes.
It's
Required
very
reading.
dystopian and it will kind of freak you out, especially during these COVID times, but it is eye-opening.
Mm-hmm. And it paints a very bleak picture.
Bleak is the keyword.
Yeah, so with the whole we've been told the dollar causes war, and we've been told that like the dollar causes bad things. People know that. Relatively. If you're hearing that for the first time, surprise. We will dive down into that. But I actually don't think people, as the majority of people, need that precursor, which has been kind of a light bulb for me recently. Because what would happen, because when people would say like, how does it help me now? I would like go into my whole hard money versus soft money speech and all this stuff. And I realized that I was still hitting this like, now what thing. So what we ended there with about just how does it help me now? I've been wrestling with this. And I'm not sure I have always given a great answer to this. And so that's why I've been trying to, beef up my knowledge on the Bitcoin circular economy and just how it actually works in commerce. Because, dude, I have my hard money versus soft money. Bitcoin is savings technology. It's down pat. I give it all the time. A lot of my friends watching this, my wife knows it. Everyone knows it. I can give that one solid. And I think a lot of Bitcoiners can. And it is. Bitcoin is great savings technology. But how does it help me now? Like, now what?
Right. And yeah, I love the line of questioning. It's just so innocent, and so it just reminds me of like when I first got into Bitcoin. It's like, what do you want me to do now? Like, okay, this is cool. I'm sold on sort of all of like the fundamentals, but yeah, how does this? If you're talking about the revolution, that means I need to do something with it right now. And I continue to be really challenged by that question, and I'm no longer satisfied with sort of like you just have to lower your time preference and think about the long game and all that kind of stuff. Which, not because I disagree with that, I totally agree with it. I think time preference is a really, really important aspect to this, but I'm not satisfied with it because I think we inhabit really unique times where we are actually transitioning to this new money, and that's incumbent on us to be like, all right, what now? Like, how do we actually make this a reality? So, yeah.
And that's why the two words that come to mind for me for, how does it help me now is opt out. Like today, you can begin the process of opting out because the current system is a corrupt system. The current system is rigged against us. We can do that. We can up and down and sideways can talk about how the current system is rigged against us. Bitcoin is a new paradigm. The reason why it's a great savings technology is because it can't be printed the way that the current, reserve currency can. And so it's better savings technology. The reason why it's so powerful and can lead to a revolution is because it cuts out third parties from transactions. So when you're using it in commerce in a fully, sovereign way, you're cutting out all other third parties. That's powerful. There's not a lot of other ways to engage in commerce like that, where you cut out, third parties that way.
No doubt. Speaking of which, we had a great example of doing just that and using it in commerce when we used the Fold app to purchase our pizza for the evening. So we got that on video as well. So take a look.
Okay. So to celebrate and put a cap on this great conversation, we're going to engage in some Bitcoin commerce. shout out to the 2 apps we're gonna use and kind of coach you through today. Blue Wallet on iOS and Fold app on iOS. Kick it off.
So I'm gonna open the Fold app.
We're buying pizza because it's Bitcoin Pizza Day. So we're gonna buy a Domino's gift card on Fold and then we'll play your spin. We gotta talk about the spin too. All right, play the daily spin at Fold.
What if I get the million? Like, on
That'd be
camera?
great.
Okay, I only got 1,000.
Boom. Okay, so we hit 1,000 extra sats.
I can do it. So then I'm gonna go to Domino's.
Yep.
I'm gonna do
$25
$25 and I'm gonna pay with
We're paying with Bitcoin Lightning. Yes. Open Lightning Wallet. It found Blue Wallet. Okay, Fold finds Blue Wallet. If you have Blue Wallet also, that's so cool. Okay, Face ID.
Oh, and it loaded up.
It loaded. So this is how Bitcoin does not have to be complicated. We're gonna walk you through the exact apps. It doesn't have to be complicated. Okay, so hit pay. Boom, $25 gift card to Domino's, paid with Lightning. And here's the exciting part. Like, people are addicted to their credit cards because they earn points. What the people at Fold have done is they baked points into paying with Bitcoin. So we're like working with people's minds. We're working with people's incentives to get them on this freedom commerce path. So we just earned 18,000 sats back while buying some pizza. And now we gotta go load the gift card in Domino's.com and get it delivered. All right, well, that was a lot of fun. I enjoy, having you guys over, and I think it's cool for all 4 of us and Steven and everyone to just keep talking about like how we navigate this revolution, both as partners, but as friends. And like, I have family members that are asking, and like, if this is a revolution, we need like our loved ones along with us, signing off and having skin in the game and like joining us. And I think that's, I just think that's really powerful to talk about. Like that's a big thing of what I keep wanting to talk about.
No doubt. And I love how Stephen Cole is the type of guy who's like revolution, but like with a huge smile on his face the whole time. So you're like, yes, I will follow you, Stephen. So shout out to Stephen. Appreciate your insights as the OG Bitcoiner in the room. So we actually are going to post the full conversation on our YouTube channel. And so invite you to check it out and let us know. What do you think? If you're a Bitcoiner and maybe you're watching with your spouse or significant other, like let us know the questions that came up and how you're working through these conversations, because we really are trying to cater these videos for those settings.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a very raw conversation. Like when you see it, I hope you feel like, you were with us celebrating and hanging out and, eating pizza with us, because that's how we want to do it. Like none of these questions are rehearsed. Like our partners are asking right now, how does it help me now? How does this revolution affect me now? What does the future look like? All questions that I'm sure, you and your family are asking. And so definitely like, let us know in the comments, DM us, tell us, how are you guys navigating this revolution?
Right on. And we will see you again next week. Monday Night Bitcoin rolls on. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Yes, we did. That's another way to think about it. We did.
Where does it come from? Do you just print it?
Hey, if you made it this far, appreciate you hanging out with us today. Do us a favor, press the thumbs up button, press the subscribe button, press that little bell by the subscribe button, and then leave us a comment. Let us know, what do you want to learn about Bitcoin? Where are you at in your Bitcoin journey? What apps do you like? What apps do you not like? What does your family think? What do you think? Leave us a comment. Thumbs up, subscribe, bell, leave us a comment. Bitcoin is freedom. And there's lots of ways to slice and dice that. We're gonna do that for you here on Monday Night Bitcoin. Just remember, Bitcoin is freedom. See you next week.